If not you, then who? Hey everybody, Pastor Nicole here. Welcome to our Midweek Moment. This week we started a new sermon series called Brave, the Story of Esther, where we learned, you guessed it, about Esther. And I want to talk a little bit about this idea of being brave enough to step into our calling. You know, there are so many things in our life, so many instances, so many moments where we recognize that there is an issue and we think, gosh, I wish somebody would fix that. Gosh, I wish somebody would do something about that. Gosh, I wish somebody could make a difference and change that. That is common for us to think, common for us to feel. I wonder, though, how common it is for us to say, well, I guess maybe I'll do it. I don't think that's very common. I think a lot of times we see the need. We may even comment that we acknowledge that there's a need, but we don't necessarily step in to fix the need. And I think that's a very human emotion. You know, like when we look at the story of Moses in Exodus, God calls Moses to go and speak to Pharaoh. And what does Moses say? Can't you just find somebody else? Who doesn't resonate with that, right? Like, can't you just find somebody else to do it, God? I don't want to do it. I just don't. I think that is a very common feeling when we are called by God to do something. When I was first called to ministry, I was like, no thanks. I don't want to do that. I have other plans that I want to do with my life. I don't want to do that. Can't you find somebody else? And I bet Esther was the same way. You know, when Mordecai comes and sends that message to her and says, you need to step up, you need to step in, you need to speak up on behalf of all the Jews or we are all going to perish. I bet Esther was like, can't you just find somebody else to do it? I don't want to do it. Because it's scary when we don't know how things are going to turn out. And it's hard when we're doing something that's challenging, right? But I wonder if you might think about something in your life, maybe right now, that you have found yourself saying, oh, I wish somebody would fix that. I wish somebody would do that. And what would happen if you were brave enough to step in? What would happen if you did it? Because guess what? If it's not us, who's it going to be? Right? If it's not you, then who? Maybe God, just like he called Esther, maybe he's calling you for such a time as this. Maybe he's calling you and he wants you to follow rather than say, oh, I wish somebody else would do it. Or, oh, can't you find somebody else? Or, oh, I just don't want to. I'm tired. I just don't want to. Maybe we should trust that if God is calling us to it, he's going to see us through it, right? So as we continue to think about the story of Esther and how she was brave enough to step in, may we be brave enough to step in. May we be brave enough to answer God's call, to do the hard thing, to say yes even when it's scary, to be the person who steps in to make a difference. And we'll see you guys next time. Bye.